Hey, so what's up, guys? Today I'm going to do a video that's a little bit different, and I may do a lot more of these going forward where I'm just talking to you personally from my heart from this car. And what I want to talk about today is how God called me to start a YouTube channel, what happened through that process of Him changing my heart and then giving me the calling, and how I was able to answer that call until now. And so, everything that's happened to date, if you're watching things from kind of its infancy, I only have a few videos up right now, but my plan is to really take this further, and God willing, if it touches a few people, if it touches a lot of people, that's great. But today I want to talk about that aspect of what God does and how He's done that for me to answer the call for His kingdom work. And so, one of the first things that I want to mention is that before I even accepted and just kind of step up to this call was the process that God took me through before that. And so, I want to speak just a little bit about the last couple of years that God has done to kind of work in my heart, to mold me, shape me, humble me, and then really allow me to learn a lot of different things so that He can prepare me for this calling. And so, everyone has their different story of the circumstances, the suffering, the different things that you go through before God allows you to really see the vision for what He wants to do in that whole kingdom work. So different roles, different body parts of the body of Christ come together. And for me, I'm one that thinks a lot. I really take information, and I'm a very critical thinker, and a lot of these videos that you'll see have a lot of structure to it, like bullet points or structure, and there's a lot of retrospective and introspective kind of thinking. So during my last couple of years, I went through a lot of difficulties, and before, maybe about 2-3 years ago, I experienced things that I thought I never would have experienced. So a lot of relational difficulty, a lot of drama, a lot of things that involved other people. And so, people, just short story, like drama with close friends, or drama with coworkers, managers from my work hating on me, or other people that didn't know me bashing on me, people backstabbing me and things like that. I'm the kind of person that I just want to be okay and nice and friendly and neutral with everybody. And so it was very hard for me to experience some of those things, especially with people that I loved. And so, long story short, for those couple of years, I was going through a lot of different anxiety, a lot of different pain, a lot of different, sadness, mourning, and I was up many nights just crying myself to sleep. But during that time, God also allowed me to respond in a positive way, meaning if you're going through a difficult time, there's one of two ways that you really can respond. Either you're going towards God or you're going against God in anger and bitterness and things like that. And so thankfully for me, God allowed me during that pain to kind of wake me up and allow me to kind of get on my knees and seek Him. And so, I mentioned this in other videos, but I've really seeked the Lord in the last couple of years, very consistent, more so than any other time in my life. And I've been a Christian for a very long time, ever since I was in middle school. And so it's been many years, but point being that throughout this process of the suffering and the pain, God really broke me down. He humbled me, and then He allowed me to kind of step up into different things. And so I've been looking for like a job. I work in the corporate world, and I've been in consulting for a very long time. But throughout my job search process, He was just kind of waiting for me to kind of get my heart right and learn a lot of different lessons, in addition to all the relational things that I've been learning within church, within the groups of friends, girl drama, other things like that. And so through that process, I came to a point last year, about the summer of 2019, where everything kind of came to like a fork. And so basically I had to make a lot of decisions that were very painful to me. And so I got a lot of counseling, a lot of just different advice and things like that. And during that time, I was in such anxiety, going through a lot of these relational difficulties. And so ultimately I took some time off work. I took a leave of absence. I took about 6 months off, in fact. And during that time, I was, helping my family. I was getting more acclimated and just involved in church. I've always been very involved in church, but more so with developing relationships and meeting people and things like that. And during that time, a couple months after And throughout the last couple of years, like I mentioned, God was really trying to work in my heart to allow me to seek Him. And so I've been on my knees, every night or every morning, just crying out to Him in my worship and my declaration to Him. And so consequently, as you get closer to the Lord, as I've done so in the last couple of years, He'll open your perspective. He'll allow your relationship with Him to become more fruitful, more intimate, and things like that. So one of the prayers that I've been praying as I've kind of have gone through that kind of tough period was, Lord, I don't care what it is that that I want. I just want to do what you want for me. I want what's best for me according to your will, and I want to obey that calling for me, that gift for me, that if it's a marriage person, whoever it is that I'm going to marry, everything that you have for me, I just want what you have for me. And I don't want to chase anything that's of my fleshly desire and anything that's not for me, even though I desire it, because I know that, God, you have the best in mind for me. And whatever that is, whether it's a small thing, whether it's a big thing, I know for me, that's the best for me. And so those are the kind of prayers and the kind of posture and attitude I've had in the last couple of years. And so, or in more specifically during the summer. And so as I've, been seeking Him in the Word and fasting and praying, God was readying my heart. And so, basically one day so after the summer, right around, October, November timeframe, this was a time where I was still off from work, maybe 3-4 months. I was healing and I was going through a lot of reconciliation and things like that. And so as I was just kind of going about my regular day, it suddenly came to me in both like a vision, like a overwhelming sense of the Holy Spirit coming to me, as well as, if you want to say, like an auditory kind of thing, where it was, Chris, I want you to start a YouTube channel. And so that day I was just kind of like, okay, what is this like thought, or what is this voice, or what's going on over me? And so the combination of me just being overly overwhelmed with the desire and the heart and the push to start a YouTube channel, at the same time the other side of me was like, this can't be, like I don't know anything about YouTube. I don't know anything about videography. I don't know anything about what to say. And I have a lot of opinions, obviously, just if you know me, I have a lot of thoughts and opinions, but there's no way that I could be called to YouTube. And it's not like I was thinking a big, million, whatever kind of subscribers. I was just thinking, okay, if you're going to call me to YouTube, there's got to just be content. And what kind of content do I need to and want to say? And so that day and then that week followed, where kind of the intensity of my thoughts and feelings just kind of amplified. And so, I told myself at the end of that week, Lord, I'm going to fast, and I'm just going to be in a spirit of prayer that if this is really for me and this is something that you are going to equip me for, then I want to do it your way. And so, and if it's from you, then I want to make sure it's from you. And so I fasted for 3 days without food and only water. And during that time, if you fast, or if you're aware of fasting, you're basically ridding yourself of all, desires, physical, just the desire for food and things like that, to clear your mind and to, in a posture of seriousness, that you want to really get an answer, or you'd really want to be close and intimate with the Lord, to hear from Him. And so fasting is a great way for that. And I won't go into that in detail here, but essentially my desire was serious. And so I've done a lot of 3-day fast over the last couple of years, actually, but this one in particular was, and I don't want to say I made an ultimatum, but I said, Lord, if you don't do something or answer me in, after this fast, I'm just going to think this is my own fleshly desire, and I don't want that. And so basically after the 3 days of fasting, what happened was just an overwhelming sense of peace kind of came over me. And so, it was more than, like a voice that said, okay, Chris, did you get it? After 3 days, it was more like, it was more like the desire and the affirmation, like the desire to do this calling didn't go away. And more so, it was just a sense of, this seems right to me, and this seems like I'm at peace with that. And so the next couple of weeks after that, I just started thinking about a lot of things. Like just, I want to say that the Lord flooded me with a lot of ideas for different types of videos and different types of content. And what God showed me over the last those next couple of weeks in November was that He was showing to me that through facts and stats, through dreams, I guess, visions, and just the thoughts that kind of overwhelm me throughout the day, right? And what He was showing me was that over the last, 50, 60 years, and maybe you can even say hundreds, thousands before that, there's a lot of ministry going on within face-to-face, overseas missions, or whatever it is that allows people to kind of get engaged in through the traditional way, through hearing the message, the good news, the gospel news, all that stuff, and people coming to know the Lord, and people building up and establishing churches, which I agree with, and that's what the model should be, as it's in the Bible. But what God was revealing to me was that God's doing something very new, and He's going to be doing this by raising up a lot of kingdom workers all over the world. And so what He revealed to me was that He's using the digital realm to create a digital ministry. And so it doesn't sound very surprising, but essentially it's a lot of people that are coming together to create blogs and videos and short form videos, content, and things like that answer specific types of questions or go through personal blogs or detail of people's testimonies, their thoughts. And obviously you see this now on YouTube, whether it's a Christian type of content or other types of videos, but essentially it's people that are on demand. You see that with YouTube, TikTok, and all these different Instagram and things like that, where you can search things. And Google is the number one search engine in the world, but number two, close behind that, is actually YouTube. And so it's not surprising to anybody watching this, but if you're looking for an answer to a question, a lot of times you only go to Google or you go to YouTube to look for that. You could call up your friend, you can text your friend and things like that. But the way that that God revealed to me was that, there's going to be a lot of close-knit, one-on-one counseling and discussions and things like that. But there's also going to be an avenue for people to be blessed and encouraged through other methods, the digital methods, where you don't really necessarily engage personally with the other person, but it's a one-to-many type of relationship. So, in the digital agency, you call one-to-one is like, personable, one-to-many or many-to-many. And one-to-many is one person like myself speaking to, many other people that are watching, and it's a one-way type of communication. And so, He was revealing that to me, and He was saying that He was going to be doing more work in this area, and that I want you to be a part of that. And of course, all I could think of, I have a lot of high standards for a lot of things, like work or for church things or whatever. But all I can think of was, man, like, I'm not qualified to do anything. Like, I don't have a theology or a MDiv or anything like that. I don't know the Bible like other prominent pastors know. I have some experience in like how my personal life has been in interacting and engaging with people, but I don't really know much more. I'm not like this. I don't think I'm like the smartest person in the world either. I'm just very passionate about the things that I want to do. But I think He was reassuring me that, I know He was reassuring me that all my posture and desiring to obey was all that He needed. And so He's, in the Bible and just throughout the course of history, He's always looking for somebody to use. He's always looking for a remnant that would say, Lord, for anything, for your glory, I will do what you want me to do. And I'll be honest with you, I'm very comfortable in life, and I'm not. I say it in the sense of, okay, I have a great job, I've got a lot of good work experience, I've been educated well, and for me to put myself out there on YouTube, for me to publicly be available for people to either critique me or judge me, and conversely, obviously being blessed and encouraged by maybe some of the things that I may be able to say that's good and relevant. But all in all, it's like, okay, like, why can't I just have a Christian life that is raising a family, which I still desire to do, or going to church and just doing small things in church. I'm I serve in many ways at my church now too, and one of my favorite ways to do it is on worship team, but as the sound guy in the back. I'm a sound engineer. It's very quiet. It's very tranquil, and as long as I don't mess up, I can just be doing things and nobody notices me, right? And so a lot of my thoughts were, A, why me? But B, like, I don't know what to say. And then third, if you're going to use me, then if you're going to use me, it would be for your glory and for everything that is of your purpose. And so God essentially was reassuring me during that time. And despite me thinking, okay, I want to be comfortable, I have everything that I need, I was just in a posture of, okay, Lord, I want to obey, and I just want to be used. And if it means, and I don't even care that this, if this gets big or not. I care that, even if one or two people watch this and get encouraged and desire to be closer to the Lord, then that's awesome. If it's 1,000, that's great. If it's 10 million, that's pretty unrealistic. But the Lord, I can't box anything in for what the Lord may have as a plan for anything, or for me in particular. But regardless, I say that because it's not like I fully desire to put myself out there and to do these things. I have a lot of things that are great for me, but regardless, God is wanting and desiring for people to be used, and for whatever this will do in the future. And I already see a lot of YouTubers and Christian YouTubers and people just popping out of nowhere and just getting tons of views and encouraging a lot of people. There's a lot of discussion even now, obviously with the COVID and a lot of social justice and many other things. There's so many things that people are talking about now that they've never talked about before that relates to their faith. But regardless, all of this is happening on the digital platform, and obviously more so because of the shelter in place, the quarantine, and just everything that's kind of going on at this moment in time. And so he was revealing that to me back in November, December, and that he's preparing a lot of people to be used in that way. And so, shortly after that in December, I made a plan to start YouTube in 2020 as quickly as possible. So I did a lot of research and I just started getting more comfortable essentially. And so after a lot of thinking and praying, and then he obviously opened a lot of other doors for me for a new job. I started a new job in February. He still wants me and is calling me to the business world. So I work, at a corporate company now. I moved out of consulting, and now I try to create a lot of content and videos. And essentially this is even my public declaration of saying, like, I want to be accountable to consistently showing videos and uploading things. And so you can keep me accountable to that, and just poke at me if I don't upload things on a consistent basis. And I'm hoping to do it weekly, or even a couple weekly. But regardless, throughout that period, as God was opening my eyes to what he's doing, where I may belong in that, and how he's going to help me and equip me, the major thing that I felt throughout that period is a sense of peace and a sense of being equipped, and then a sense of urgency in what he has for me and what he wants me to do, and how he allows me to see the people and the harvest. Basically, the harvest is plentiful, the workers are few, right, as it says in scripture. And so what I also wanted to say as I kind of share this from my perspective and how God's called me to YouTube, similarly, if you're in a place in life where God is really readied you, humbled you, and he's softened your heart to be ready to accept the calling that God, and it sounds scary, but to accept the calling for the rest of your life or for a season in doing kingdom and ministry work, then I would encourage you to do a lot of the things that could get you more clarity. It's and that involves a lot of prayer, a lot of being in the Word, and then fasting. And so those three things are very critical and obviously very fundamental just as a Christian in general. But if you're serious and if God has really placed something into your heart, then if God put that there, then that's from God. Like, and if you're confused about whether that is a fleshly desire or whether that's just a just a thought you imagined, think about it from this perspective. Is it rational in that it's doing good, fruitful work for the kingdom, right? If it's something like starting a, you know, I don't know, something like a sinful industry, then maybe that's questionable. But if it's something for pushing the kingdom work, then that's something that God is putting in your heart for a reason, because he's, whether it's for me YouTube, or whether it's other things in your life, medical, business, or other industries, or even just the calling to your family or to the local church you're at, whatever it is, whatever skill or whatever, thing that's coming to your heart, those things, if you really are, seeking to do his will, he's going to affirm that to you. And so as time passes, especially for me, as time passes, more peace will come to you, and less anxiety, less doubt, less worry will come to you. And then people around you, and I got a lot of counseling and a lot of just different people speaking into my life, those people will also come and align to that, because God will work through those other people to give you that encouragement, that affirmation. Again, no one's going to tell you, other people, aren't going to tell you what your calling is. Only God calls you to your specific calling. And so if anyone tells you that's not your calling and that's not what you should do, but instead do this, that's not biblical. And if they're giving you advice from, in the sense that might not be the right timing, or you might want to consider XYZ, and they're giving you kind of a different perspective, that's one thing. They're giving you a lot of counseling and a lot of advice. But if they tell you that that's not right, or that's not what you want to be doing, then that's obviously not good advice. And so I would encourage those that are watching this, that if you're considering a calling, you want to step up to that. And the devil, also Satan, that he wants to rob that from you, and he's going to want to attack you to kind of create doubt in you and things like that. So you want to be prayed up, you want to be stored up in that prayer, and you want to just have clarity as much as possible, and that involves continually getting on your knees and seeking him. And so if you're wondering about your calling, I want to encourage you, that is from the Lord. If that is something truly that you feel is from the Lord and you're just doubting it, just stay prayed up and just get some more counseling, just get some more advice, and eventually God will give you that peace and that anxiety. And so just want to share that and where I'm coming from, and just as a word of encouragement for those that are watching this, that are desiring to do the kingdom work. And so, we're all of the same body, we're all doing different things, and we want to do it all for the glory of God. And so, so thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you guys later.